Oh my goodness.
The one of one is missing.
I knew something was up.
Pop, that's almost twice as much going for the same price.
I just freaking love that rated rookie logo.
Doing more buying.
Which one of these 5 quarterbacks has the worst set of pass catchers to throw the football to?
Guess how much I sniped this for an auction?
Number to 5, you dirty animal.
I'm telling you, these optic on-card autos are money.
Alrighty, if there was ever a time to move your Joe Flacco cards, it would be right the frick now. His name is Andy. My name is Carter. We got a fresh set of power rankings coming up. But Andy, your biggest football card takeaway from this past weekend was what?
Well, it had to be finally the big breakout game for Drake May. This was finally the game that brought Drake May into a lot of household name conversations. And in fact, I know his prices were lower than Jaden Daniels, but Drake May just absolutely broke the hobby slate, if you will, this past weekend with over 1,000 buy it now solds in a matter of like 12 hours after the Sunday night game.
Yeah, so this was my flag plant. Was it not, Andy?
You've been saying to buy Drake May since the end of last season. Last December.
I wish my funds were where I could have just bought as many Drake May cards as I possibly could. And it is interesting that he's starting to play so well now that some are saying, hey, how close is he to even Jaden Daniels? Because Jaden Daniels, in the minds of many, was just so far and away the best quarterback or the best young quarterback in the NFL 25 or under. But I'm telling you, Drake May is a solid number 2 for me. And Andy, this is something that I have always done. I will compare the same quarterbacks from the same draft class with somewhat similar draft capital. I did this with Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert a few years ago, and it worked out for me. It was also easier for me to pour money into Joe Burrow cards because of my LSU allegiance. But basically, I just did the same thing with Drake May. And I kept saying, hey, I think he's better than Bo Nix. Hey, I think he's better than J.J. McCarthy. And Drake was cheaper in some aspects to those guys. So you're seeing it now. The guy is really, really, really special. And if you bought during the offseason, like we told you to, you're probably feeling a lot better where you are right now.
Yeah, you can see in top sales in the last total sales in the last 6 months, Drake May is now up to number 2 in the base Prism PSA 10 behind Jaden Daniels. And so you can see his trend on that card is currently $53. It's a base Prism. It's got a population of 1,403, 39% raw to PSA 10 conversion rate. And then Jaden Daniels is just, he's taken a big dip from the start of the season. But the current trend on his is $61. So only a few more, but you see he's got a much larger population as well, 4,973 population. So I expect now from this emergence of Drake May, you're going to see a lot more cards, raw cards of Drake May being bought and then graded with PSA. So I expect to see the added to PSA database number for Drake May go up exponentially. And right now he's had 203 cards added in the last week to PSA's database compared to Jaden's 457. I mean, there's a world where we could see Drake May's added to PSA number higher than Jaden Daniels. I mean, he plays for the Patriots,
Yeah, and a slightly different story. And Andy, I was really high on the Broncos going into the season. What a win! What a win this weekend for them to come back versus the Philadelphia Eagles. In a game where, the Eagles jumped out at him, but if you actually watch the game, you're like, man, the Broncos are really freaking good. This is a talented roster, but to me, Drake May is just so far and away the second best quarterback in this class. And there are some opportunities for Caleb Williams to play really big and obviously shoot his stuff up, but his stuff was already so high because of the hype with Caleb going into the season. So really good stuff. We say hi to Craig, and he said, I listened to Carter and invested in Drake May. And I'll always say this, Andy, there are some things I get wrong. Drake May was one of my more confident picks, especially with quarterbacks, because I know if I say something or you say something multiple times, people will start doing action. I'm always more careful with quarterbacks because, well, they're the most expensive, especially young quarterbacks. So shout out to you, Drake May. Thanks for balling out and beating Josh Allen on national television. Andy, before I get to my first football card observation, was there anything else that stood out to you?
Well, yeah, we had a close look at the Trevor Lawrence storyline last week. I said he hasn't been playing good. You confirmed the fact that he hasn't been playing great, but yet they were still winning games. And now they knock off the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. I'm curious to get your take on what you saw in the film from a passing perspective. What I saw was that he still struggled a little bit in terms of his read progressions and reading the defense. But overall, he took much better care of the football and in terms of turnovers, and also used his legs quite a bit. So those scrambles were clutch. And he made some moves with his legs, and they come away with another big win, another primetime win. And now the Jags are 4-1, and they just knocked off the Chiefs. And now we are seeing a significant increase in the sold volume for Trevor Lawrence, which is leading to a value increase.
Yeah, good for him. Good for the hobby as well, because there is so much Trevor stuff out there and so many card buyers have bought his stuff. Andy, the film has looked better. I don't think he played well at all in a Panthers win earlier this year. This was a game where he actually did play well. Obviously, the final drive was phenomenal. There's just no other way around it. The BTJ throw is the best throw of his career. You can even make a case that the Dyami Brown throw after that was just as good on a deep out. But, man, he is playing better. But honestly, Andy, this is why when it comes to football cards, it's all about the quarterbacks. It's all about if they're winning or not. Situation is so important when you evaluate quarterbacks. Yeah, there's some guys like Jaden Daniels where the situation's not as important to someone like him. But for Trevor, the Jaguars last year, Andy, was the worst rushing attack in the NFL. They're top 5. Last year, Jaguars only had 9 turnovers on the season. They already have 14 as a defense. The Jaguars' offensive line is better. So his situation got a lot better. Now, one thing that was really impressive for Trevor is that Britton Strange got hurt. And to me, he's a top 5 tight end, or bordering on a top 5 tight end in the NFL. So he's not going to have Strange as a big piece of what they do. But like we said last week, Andy, I am bullish on the Jags. This is a really, really, really good football team that has just gotten the biggest coaching upgrade in the NFL.
Who are they playing this week, Carter? I'm looking at the week 6 slate here. Oh, the Seahawks. So this is a good matchup. Can they keep up in a shootout, a potential shootout? Because this Seahawks offense is humming as well, man. Look at the shootout they just had with the Buccaneers, and they've been putting up points, man. And the defense has been playing well. I think this is going to be a very tough matchup for the Jags. This is really going to put Trevor Lawrence, his passing acumen to the test in this game against the Seahawks. I think he'll be forced to throw more, and that's going to be a very interesting game to keep your eye on. Currently a 47.5 over under, which has gone up a point.
It's been a good year for the revival first round quarterbacks. Sam Darnold of the famous 2018 class. If you bought in at the cheapest, you're sitting pretty well right now on Darnold stacks. Now, stuff's never going to just absolutely balloon, but Darnold is just playing unfreaking believably good football right now. Andy, I want to talk about the wide receiver market, if you don't mind. It does seem as if Emeka Egbuka is in this kind of Justin Jefferson convo, right? Number 2 wide receiver on his own team, suppressed his draft value, picked in the 20s, and Egbuka has just looked ridiculously good. Now, football card wise, he's an interesting player, played at Ohio State. So there's stuff printed out there because Ohio State has the biggest fan base in college football, arguably. And then, of course, You had the weird practice uniform situation where he was wearing number 9 and now he wears number 2. Overall, Andy, I know you've been trying to get your hands on some Egbuka. Have you been successful?
No, no, I have not. His college uniform cards have doubled in value since before the season. So he was actually one of the rare rookies that you could buy into that have gone up exponentially since then. Yeah, there's some no-name guys that went up a bit, like we looked at Isaac Tesla or Woody Marks, stuff like that. But you look at Ashton Genty or Travis Hunter, you look at some of the other first-round running backs. Now Omarion Hampton goes to IR. Those guys have all lost value since before the season. But you have Emeka Egbuka that is his college uniform cards have doubled in value. I mean, he's on pace right now for over 1,500 yards and 17 touchdowns. If you extrapolate what he's done through the first 5 weeks, I mean, he's the first rookie in NFL history to record over 475 yards through his first 5 games. So you're right, man. He's on a historic track right now in his rookie season, and love the chemistry there between Baker and him. They're like on the same page. It really came together this past week, and I'd love to see it keep going. There are some new cards out for him. New cards are continually come out, but I mean, right now, a lot of stuff has him in this number 9 practice jersey. I'm not excited about that at all. His actual jersey number is number 2. I'm like, what does number 9 practice jersey do for me? He's number 2. So I'm waiting to get. I've ordered some good Panini Instants. But those haven't come yet. When those do come, those are going to be worth at least double or triple what I bought them for because they have a printed serial number on the back. Yes. Also, while we're talking about rookies, Carter, Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt had his breakout game this past week. I got to think a lot of that had to do with Jaden Daniels coming back, man, opening those running lanes. That offense started moving again. I mean, man, what a pretty sight it was for Commanders fans to have Jaden back. And even though Terry McLaurin's not healthy, Deebo Samuel looks great in this offense with Jaden. And Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt breaks out in a big way. And his Panini Instants that went up at the same time as Emeka Egbuka, dude, those are selling for close to $100. This is a non-autographed printed serial number card on the back. But I got to think that at least there's going to be at least a print run of 500 to 700, but that is literally the only card that Bill Merritt has. Only card.
I love him. There's just no other way around it. I love him. I will tell you this. If you are a sucker, because I know we're very analytical and we make jokes and stuff like that. If you're a sucker for wholesome content, go listen to Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt's interview with Tom Brady. It felt like he was a kid, like a 7-year-old kid getting his autograph at like a card show. It was that great. We saw to James, his super chat flies in. This is a record super chat for the past month. Big thanks to you, James. He wants to go talking about Zay Flowers, Andy. This is a player we do not spend a whole lot of time talking about. Zay Flowers has had a good season, but what do you make of the Baltimore Ravens number 1 option?
Oh, man, Baltimore Ravens are in such bad trouble right now. They're starting to trade away key pieces of their defense, which is not a good sign. It's typically a sign that you're planning on tanking the season. And I think Lamar Jackson comes back, if not this week, in the next few weeks. I think their bye week is in 2 weeks. So he probably comes back after that. Cooper Rush hasn't looked good. I didn't watch the whole game, but watching them on Red Zone, he didn't look good. And they got chewed up last week. And so Zay Flowers is having a really rough go of it right now. Right now, we have him on our hype index next to Rashee Rice and Jordan Addison. It's in the 50s. Jordan Addison is a little bit of a knucklehead, but he's a good player, I think, just like Zay Flowers. And Zay Flowers doesn't have those knucklehead issues, it doesn't seem like. And he's a good player, man. So I like investing in the talent there. He's not a big physical specimen like DK Metcalf. So I don't think you're going to draw in a lot of hobbyists that way. He's going to have to produce on the field like a Tank Dell. Like people weren't buying into Tank Dell until he started going off with CJ Stroud. So I like Zay Flowers. And so if you can get him for cheaper than Rashee Rice or Jordan Addison, it makes a lot of sense to buy him right now. And I got to imagine that there's going to be some very, very low hanging auctions ending for Zay Flowers right now.
Yeah, I would wait about a month. I'm looking at his cards right now. I do think these are going to dip, and he's got some sick stuff. I'm a sucker for purple and gold, though, so take that for what it's worth. But yeah, I would wait because I do think you're going to have a really good buying opportunity. Because even if you think this is the end of the Ravens, it's not the end of Lamar Jackson, and they're definitely not getting rid of Zay Flowers. That would be lunacy unless someone really wanted to come in and overpay for a wide receiver like this. So, yeah, I mean, look, his auto is also pretty sick. I like his auto a lot.
Yeah. Rookie ticket autos at $40 in auction for the Silver Prism rookie ticket auto. I think that does get lower, Carter. I think you're right. I would be targeting them under 30. I mean, look at that auction from October 1st. That was a snipe on that card. And then the base variation, I'd be looking to get that under 20. When you hit that, I mean, it's kind of it's open sniping season, and it's going to get better, I think, for Zay Flowers. I think you're right, man. So he's definitely going to be on my buy low list for, around that Thanksgiving time period, November time period.
Yeah, let's follow up here with James. Once again, thank you for your very generous donation. We'll always spend a little bit more time for the super chatters. James says, I heard Lamar is possibly getting traded. James, Lamar's name is always going to be associated with deals because of what happened a few years ago, which was just lunacy. And the Ravens finally did the smart thing. And then, well, here we are. Okay. But Lamar's name is always going to be attached to trades because it draws clicks. The Ravens are not that dumb. They're not that dumb. Unless someone is willing to give you like 4 firsts, which I still think that might be an underpay because I still think Lamar has a lot of good football ahead of him. I will say, though, Andy, there are a few people that know ball better than me, and they're like, yeah, maybe Lamar's lost a step. Maybe he has. He looked atrocious versus the Chiefs. Atrocious. It was bizarre, especially after starting off 7-0. So, James, I still think Lamar is going to be attached to the Ravens. And if that's the case, Zay Flowers is also going to be attached to the Ravens. So I do think you're going to get some really good buy low opportunities. And the same goes for a lot of these Ravens. Card Banker wants to talk some Keaton Mitchell. Free Keaton Mitchell. Free freaking Keaton Mitchell. Give him a chance to actually tote the rock. He's never going to play ahead of Justice Hill or Derrick Henry. But, yeah, get Keaton Mitchell on a team that needs an RB.
For sure. And he's got very few rookie cards. So I would be buying those on the super low because, he exploded out of a cannon when he was a rookie. And it was unfortunate he got injured because we don't know what could have been there. But certainly a fresh start with a young guy like Keaton Mitchell. He's got a lot of football left ahead of him in his career. It makes sense to buy him dirt cheap right now and just kind of stash him.
Zay, I did see Zay's National Treasures logo sell in auction this week. Let me get the price up again. We love doing these trivias. Once again, this trivia is brought to you by the Football Card Quest Patreon. Please go sign up, patreon.com/footballcards. Okay, Andy, if a horizontal Zay Flowers shield went for auction right now, what do you think the final price is? So everyone in the chat right now, give it your best guess. Panini Immaculate 1/1 RPA rookie shield for Zay Flowers raw. What do you think the final bid price was for that?
Yeah, I'm gonna guess 750.
All right, let's get a few more guesses in the chat. 750 is what you say. And while we allow a few more guesses to fly in, Jonathan says Hassan Haskins breakout, the Chargers backup running back with the Marion Hampton out.
Yeah, I mean, Hassan Haskins has got a strong athletic profile and history, but he's never really produced a whole lot. You know, it's like Antonio Gibson kind of, but I mean, he's produced less than him. So yeah, I'm not crazy about Haskins, to be honest with you. I think I don't know, man. Rico Dowdle really surprised me this past week, so maybe I'm wrong. I know Haskins is going to get a workload for the Chargers. The Chargers are in trouble right now, man. The Chargers are definitely in trouble. Justin Herbert has got it. They've got to get this figured out because he's not playing well under pressure, is what I'm reading, and he's been getting pressure a lot. And when he gets under pressure, he's not able to make the plays like he's been throwing to his first read at the highest rate in the NFL. And if his first read's not open because they're double covering him and he's under pressure, well, all of a sudden he's making mistakes and this Chargers offense isn't going anywhere and this Chargers team is in trouble.
What's weird is so much of football is special teams. And this year, punts have decided so many games. If that Latin McConkey punt return touchdown doesn't get called back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That hurt. I really do think that would have been replayed a gazillion times. Ladd hurdling that guy. That hurt Ladd getting a much needed boost in his football cards with him being the wide receiver 3. And also hurt a Justin Herbert win over Jaden with Tom Brady on the call. But Andy, it's time to reveal the answer for the final National Treasures sale, or it was Immaculate, excuse me. And boom,
I was pretty close, man.
You were right on there, Andy. You were right there.
$790.
$790.
Sick card. I would expect to find a card like this for a player like Zay under $400 in at the bottom price. At the bottom price, that's what I'd be looking to pick it up for at a card show or on eBay and negotiating that deal. Because this is like a mid price for this kind of card, and that's why I guess 750. But it's kind of like a kaboom. That's kind of where you'll see the values landing for these one of ones like this. So the Black Finite one of one from Prism, I think would actually go higher. That's what I would go more with pick sixes range. Or I think one of the guys, Tim said 1100. That's a Black Finite one of one, or maybe a Gold Vinyl one of one. But this iMac one of one, I put it on the same pedestal as a Kaboom.
Interesting. I would guess the Zay Black Finite would go for a lot more. I think that would be minimum twos, because people are such a sucker for Black Finites, especially now when the most public football sale for a of the year was that Jaden Black Finite going for $500K. I would guess Zay's Black Finite. Let's see if it's sold.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a Kaboom too, and the last Kaboom it looks like sold September 11th in a PSA 10 grade though for 1,150. So I imagine the raw version would be close to that 750 number. Let's look for a Black Finite.
Okay, yeah, I'm right. So the Black Finite Dragon Scale Black Prism one of one PSA 10 went for $1,400. Now that was in August. So yeah, his true Black Finite Prism I think right now if it went for sale would go 25 to 3K.
Right now?
Yes, I really do think so.
What was the sale you found on it?
Okay, so this look, I'll put it up on my screen right here.
Yeah. That was a cool patch. Let's see.
People just freaking love Black Finite.
Oh yeah, man. It's
a creme de la creme
card. Oh, and that is a select as well.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, man. Anytime you can get a Prism Black Finite for most good players under 500, which is just rare, you need to jump on it. You just do.
Well, and so that's why I see for Kaboom as well. Like Kaboom under 500 for good players. Now, if it's a downtown, now I'm lowering that because downtowns have become more common to 350. If it's a quarterback, I'd say 500, but for a skill position player, I'd say 350 or less. And now you start to get like if you offered me 200, 250 for a Zay Flowers downtown, that's a good buy, you know. But if it was a Kaboom, you have to raise that. If it's a 1-of-1, you have to raise that. If a Black Finite 1-of-1, you have to raise that.
I'm just a sucker for Black Finite. I just am Black Finite gold number to 10. I'm always about that in life. So it's now time for hobby tip of the week. Andy, I'll let you go first.
Sure, man. So I used AI to analyze the pull rates for 2025 Donruss, and there's not really good data on it. But I have found from, AI seems to think that the pull rates are going to be similar to what it was in 2024. And so based on a 2024 survey, Reddit survey of 3,362 units, the blaster box pull rate of downtowns was 4.4%, or 1 out of every 23 blaster boxes. The mega was 8.7%, 1 out of 11 boxes. The hobby box pull rate was interesting, 3.9%, 1 out of every 26 boxes. It says 2025 is likely similar, as structures haven't changed significantly. So expect megas to offer the best odds for inserts due to pack volume. I found that very interesting.
Wow.
And it's very specific to 2025 Donruss, or just base Donruss in general, because those pull rates aren't that good in Donruss Elite or other mega boxes from other sets.
Interesting. I love how every hobby tip of the week is you evaluating sealed wax and just wax in general, because it is a good thing to at least discuss before you go and buy all that wax.
Yeah, for sure. And also determining what wax you're going to buy, because like I've learned, like it really doesn't make sense to buy wax for a lot of sets, unless you can chase the good cards. In this case, you can chase downtowns, and that's what you're looking for here. And it makes a lot of sense to get those. And that's one of the best sellers on blowoutcards.com. And they've got, I think that also is why they have a sale on the 2025 Donruss football hobby box. They typically don't have a sale this, close to when it was released, but yet they've got a sale on it already from $450 now to $395. It's because a lot of people are criticizing this hobby box for being too expensive with not enough hits, or the odds aren't good enough to get the hits, such as the downtown. And that's really what you're looking for out of these boxes, when you're better off buying mega boxes of 2025 Donruss for your best odds of pulling a downtown. And that's the way to go, man, if you want to chase those.
One thing I find interesting about sealed wax is it's always funner to rip with other people. I think ripping sealed wax alone can be a very sad experience, because if you hit something, sure, everybody's happy, but it's so much funner to rip when you are around some other friends. My funnest time ripping cards, because most of the cards I've ripped, I've been by myself. It was ripping with you at the National. So I'm all about it. Jay Young Gunn says Mosaic is the best bang for your buck, with it being the first Chrome set out. Do you agree or disagree with that, Andy?
Well, I do think it's going to be a really good set. It should have some good pro uniform cards in there, and it's a Chrome set, yes. So I do think it makes a lot of sense getting to Mosaic, because Mosaic is structured different than Donruss. It doesn't have the downtown that people are chasing. So it does make more sense to get into a break of a hobby box or a case of hobby boxes for a player like Mika Ibuka, get in on the Buccaneers in that break. That makes a lot more sense. But when it comes to Donruss, which makes a lot of sense as well, because of the downtowns, because of the pro uniform rated rookies, look at the prices on eBay of the mega boxes. So you can see the Donruss Elites, they sell for basically what you can buy them for in retail. That's what they sell for in retail. But if you look at the Donruss mega box, which still looks like pre-order, this was yesterday, $82. So there's something there, guys. I'm telling you, AI is usually spot on. I mean, they analyze like 50 million websites and forums and all kinds of stuff to give me those answers. So yeah, I mean, look at the trends. Ships October. I'm very interested to see when these drop. And also, Carter, from talking to guys, the first release, the first wave of mega boxes that hit the shelves are the ones with the highest hit rates because they want to get the collectors and hobby excited about it. So get ready. Try and get your hands on these at retail because they're already selling for 50% more than what they're going to sell in retail stores. So they're going to be a hot item at your Targets and Walmarts, etc. Carter, you live in a pretty rural location, man. You might be able to find some.
Yeah, I just don't have the moolah, like I said earlier with the Drake May plays. I would be a lot richer if I could have just gone out and bought all those Drake May cards like I wanted to. But
let's pull our money together in the Discord, guys, and get Carter to go to his stock his Walmart and buy all the mega boxes.
I can walk to my Walmart. I'd love to go. Andy, my very easy and fun play of the week is, I say play of the week, but hobby tip of the week is to there's plenty of analytical things that you could go to, people that you could follow with good charts. There's a site called Sumar Sports. It's spelled Sumer, and they released something called Sumar Brain. I met some of the Sumar people at the Super Bowl, and they released a new service that's like their own AI brain, and it's very advanced, but they made it simple that you could type something in and it'd say, hey, what are the best things and matchups over the next couple of weeks? Who plays the most cover one in the NFL? So me as a film analyst, it does help me out a little bit more because I do get into the nitty gritty, and it helps me with this show, or it helped me with today's show because it was just released yesterday, and it's going to help me with my play of the week a little bit later. So my thing is, I know we're so focused on like just football cards and stuff like that, but there's a lot of really good accounts analytically that can help you make picks, help you make selections. I have done a lot better betting this year just by not just leaning on my own understanding, but leaning on others. So be on the lookout for that. And I'm going to go ahead and give out my play of the week. It is Jordan Love, Andy. I'm still really high on this Packers team. And per Sumar Sports, I asked them this morning who has the best matchup defensively in the NFL over the past or the next month. And he said that it told me the Packers offense. They'll play the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Steelers, and the Panthers. Andy.
Ooh, I love that run of games for the Packers.
Yeah, it's interesting. And obviously it's not in that particular order. Actually, no, I think they got the order right. Either way, it sets up nicely for your Packers bags because there's going to be a lot of wins in the Green Bay future. And that means the Jordan Love hype will continue. Now, stuff is already up because, well, the Packers are doing well, but still, it's something.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at 6-month trends too. You can see Justin Herbert dominating the this total sales volume on PSA 10 6-month trend. But let's compare the prices here, man. $232 trend for Herbert Optic Holo PSA 10. You got to think that's now ticking down, man. Yes, you can see it was it was a high there of like you had a $295 auction, $250 buy it now, and then day after the games you have a $191 auction. This is why I don't sell in auctions right now. It's too much weekly volatility. If you're trying to time it and you get it wrong on a week for Herbert, I mean, you just cost yourself $100. I mean, why not on a guy like Herbert? You can see even buy it nows and auctions that have ended later this week are higher than that 191. It's so fresh. Like that wound of the Chargers game is so fresh, in people's brains. Of course, that auction is going to end lower, but Jalen Hurts, a trend of 187, and he was forced to throw the ball a lot more against Denver this past week than in weeks past. And he did make some good throws. I thought he made some mistakes as well. And ultimately, that was a really good game against the Broncos that they lost. But I was really impressed by the Broncos. Like I still think that Bo Nix, he's a good buy as well. But yeah, I mean, look at Jordan Love. He's cheaper than Jalen Hurts, and with that stretch, and he's cheaper than Justin Herbert. I like the Optic Hollow PSA 10 value on Jordan Love right now.
Is there any massive change in your power rankings for this week? Did anyone go down or did they go up? And my question for you, Andy, this is more so a macro thing because we all know playoffs are the next big spike hype cycle outside of a just random blow up by some random player. Let me ask you this. Are you concerned about the Kansas City Chiefs? They're sitting at 2-3 right now, Andy.
Yeah, man. I would say yes. But we knew the Jaguars defense is pretty good, but still, man. I'd say yes, I'm concerned, obviously, especially the short term. They're playing the Lions this week. So that's going to be a really tough matchup for them. I see them losing this game. It also has
What?
I think they could easily lose against the Lions. The Lions are a great team. And I mean, look at them, 4-1. The Lions are putting up all kinds of points against good defenses. I mean, put up 34 points against the Browns defense. They put up 52 points on the Bears defense. The only team that they struggled against was the Packers in week 1, where they only put up 13 points. So, and you look at what the Packers defense has done to other opponents. They've been really good. And so I think that was just a week 1 slow start, really tough defense that came out of the gates really hot. It was also an away game in Green Bay, division opponent. But you look at this Sunday night game, I think that they're going to run up the scoreboard. I think that's kind of probably what Dan Campbell wants to do here against the Chiefs. Not sure the Chiefs can keep up offensively. So, yeah, it does look like, I don't know if it's mental with Mahomes. Maybe he's just, but at the same time, we've seen these slow starts and slow middle of the season periods for Patrick Mahomes, where he comes out of it and has a really good December and makes the playoffs. So, yeah, I'd still buy Mahomes if that rated rookie gets close to $100 or lower, for sure, man, because I wouldn't put it past him, and he's got a lot of years left in the league.
All right, so let's share the screen, and we don't do our own like graphic or whatever, but we just react to a few other power rankings. The Athletic agrees with you, Andy, that the Detroit Lions are the best team in the National Football League. I do disagree, though, that I would be panicking about Kansas City. Okay, they lost to the Chargers, elite team. They lost to the Jaguars, elite team. And their other loss was to the Eagles, elite team. So, all their losses were to teams basically in the top 10 of this. The Chargers, of course, are down 5 slots because they lost to the Commanders. But, I still think Kansas City finds their way to the playoffs, even if they are 2-3. One team that to me is very interesting, Andy, is the Steelers, right? The AFC North has opened itself wide open for the Steelers to grab it by the throat. And if Aaron Rodgers could get a playoff run, Andy, you could see an opportunity for Aaron to have a big year.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. The Steelers are sitting in a good spot, I think, right where they want to be every year. They got the Browns this week. I think it's a pretty easy win for them. It's another tough matchup for Dylan Gabriel. I thought he played okay in his debut. Obviously, he didn't do a whole lot, but he also didn't get a whole lot wrong. I mean, if you just look at the stats, he played okay. I mean, it was a decent outing for him in his NFL debut. Nothing special, but also he didn't fall on his face either.
Is there a lock for this week?
Yeah, I mean, well, Steelers-Browns could be a low-scoring. Yeah, their defense is definitely a force. This is going to be a close game between the Patriots and Saints. Chargers-Dolphins is not a lock for me at this point. After the way the Chargers have played the past 2 weeks, I'd say that game could easily turn into a shootout there, a high-scoring affair. Seahawks-Jags, that's going to be a close game. There's your lock for the week right there, brother. It's Cardinals at the Colts. This is Colts. I mean, the Colts are going to win this.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, though, Andy. People want to know if you think they're going to cover 6.5.
Yeah, covering 6.5 is a higher number. But they certainly could. Yeah. There's definitely a situation where they could definitely cover that spread for sure.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals play tough this weekend. I know they're on the road, and you always worry about West Coast team going to play in a different time zone. But I think the way the Cardinals lost is going to be a rallying cry for them to play the Colts, who have been blowing teams out. It's hard to blow teams out multiple times in a row. Colts just blew out the Raiders. So I don't know.
So yeah, these are actually better locks if you look at the 1:00 games. Broncos at the Jets. That's the closest thing you get to a lock right there. But 7.5 point spread's a high number. So I'd actually go with the Rams blowing out the Ravens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man, come on. They're trading away key pieces of their defense. You got another Cooper Rush game this weekend before their bye week. This has got blowout written all over it here for the Rams, the Ravens. I mean, look at how well Kyron's game was last week. My play of the week is actually I would be buying Blake Corum behind him because he's looked super explosive and has been really good every time he's gotten the ball. And I know he's got a very low snap share, so he's a candidate to be traded. Or if Kyron went down with an injury, it would be game over for Blake Corum and his values would skyrocket. So this is a positive game script scenario for the Rams where they run up the scoreboard with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams and then feed Kyron Williams and maybe see some Blake Corum too. But yeah, they easily blow out the Ravens here.
Ooh, easily.
I'm confident, man. Yep.
Easily.
Well, any given Sunday, game script could happen differently, but looking at the way these teams have played this year, the trends over the past 5 weeks, yeah, I'd say it's a high upside lock.
Play of the week, Andy.
Well, I'm gonna give out the deep sleeper, man. I'm gonna give out Blake Corum.
Blake Corum.
I like him. He's super explosive every time he's touched the ball. Like he's almost got his efficiency this year is almost 10 yards a carry. I know it's a small sample size, but it tells you every time he's getting the ball, like he's making the most out of it. He's making people miss. He's getting yards after contact. And he's got no opportunity right now because Kyron in a Sean McVay system, Sean McVay loves to lean on one running back and just ride him till the wheels fall off. And so we've seen Kyron injured before. He's a running back, and running backs have a high injury volatility, so I just have to think that at some point Blake Corum's going to get a nice opportunity. I'd like to stash him whenever he's super cheap because he's He's been a really explosive player that has looked good. He's got some decent draft capital behind him. He was productive in college, and this guy has got some good upside in this offense.
Yeah, I would go back to what I said earlier about the matchups. The Broncos offense has a really soft group of defenses coming up, as do the Packers. So be ready to move some of those skill guys, because I do think what these weaker defenses do is like they're like, all right, we're just not going to let their best player beat us. So the number twos in those offenses become really sexy. Guys like Marvin Mims, if you will. If you have some Dontavian Wicks stashed away, Romeo Dobbs, who's played really well. So be on the lookout for that. It is also interesting that you look at a guy like Justin Fields, his numbers don't look too bad, but so much of his numbers are just garbage time numbers. So it's something. But yes, some really good teams in the NFL have some soft defensive matchups over the next 2 weeks, and in particular, the Broncos and the Packers are definitely there. Another one is Jack Bech. All right, so they finally started feeding him the ball this past weekend. I've interviewed Jack. I love Jack. 5 targets, 27 yards this past weekend versus Indianapolis. And it looks as if Brock Bowers is going to be left out again this week. I think Jack Bech is a good NFL wide receiver. So be on the lookout for number 18 for the Las Vegas Raiders, Jack freaking Bech.
Yeah, the Raiders, Geno Smith has played really bad, and they've got a tough schedule coming up, Carter. So Jack Bech would be the only guy I buy besides Brock Bowers. I buy Bowers right now. Genty's just too expensive still. Definitely out on Geno. And
how has the Bowers dip? I've not looked at Brock's market in a while.
Oh yeah, it's dipped. It's dipped for sure, man. Still harder to crack into that rookie auto market for Bowers. But if you look at the Silver Prism, take a quick peek here. He's dipped a considerable amount, man, since the beginning of the season.
He is a Fanatics guy.
Yeah. So his Silver Prism is down 18% right now over the past 6 months. But if I look over the past 30 days, it's down 20%. The trend right now is $125. And you actually had, on Saturday, you had a low auction of $104. $104 for a Silver Prism PSA 10 that has had a high of $500 in the past.
This, and I'm looking at some of his raw Silver Prisms. The raws go for like $15 at the door. So I'm wondering if that's worth buying and just grading all of them just to see. Because if you think Bowers is special, then it's going to go up eventually.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Raiders draft a good quarterback next year. I got to think that's the plan for them after this year. So looking at the grade rates, the Silver Prism, 60% of them have converted to PSA 9s and 28% to PSA 10s.
Wow.
So that's a gem rate of 88%, which is pretty good. It's what we see on a lot of ultra modern stuff. I mean, it's a lot better than 2021 Trevor Lawrence Silver Prism. So yeah, there's almost 1,000 PSA 10s. So, or no, excuse me, there's almost 1,000 PSA 9s. There's 458 PSA 10s.
Wait, 458 Bowers Silver PSA 10s?
Yeah.
I thought that number would be way lower. Wow.
Yeah, it's a solid number. They printed him quite a bit because of his draft capital and the rookie explosion. But I mean, look how much they've come down, man. Summertime, those cards were all around 250 to 300, and they just come down. They normalized there, but he got no hype due to quarterback. And then he got injured, to start the season, and combined with quarterback issues for the Raiders, That has really sent these cards down to this new low.
And you can get it for 120.
Yeah, so this is a great marker that is indicative of the rest of his market right now.
Let's see. I've actually kind of set it and forget it. If my Devon Achane PSA 10 play has done anything. Let me see. Has it gone up at all? No, it's actually gone down.
Well, Achane, yeah, I mean, Achane's been a solid fantasy asset, but has he really had any blow up game? He hasn't, you know what I'm saying? He hasn't had those Rico Dowdle or Bucky Irving games. He's sitting at the number 7 on a fantasy points per game basis. But look at his game log. It's not really been a breakout game. He had 122 yards in week 2 against New England with 1 touchdown. That was his best week. But the past 3 weeks, he's finished number 12, number 17, number 14. And when you're on a losing team, that's just not good enough to see your cards go up in value. I think he's a good stash, but he's with those kind of mid numbers, he's definitely going to be subject to the mid-season dip as the Dolphins continue to lose games.
Would you take Tyler Warren over Brock Bowers right now?
Tyler Warren, are we talking fantasy or cards?
Just in general. You can anything.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I don't know. I was thinking, yeah, Tyler Warren. That's an interesting. I mean, for this season, I'm taking Tyler Warren for sure.
Yeah.
But long term, yeah, I'd rather buy Brock Bowers cards this season because Tyler Warren's going to stay expensive, man. He's one of the I'd say put him in like top 3 skill position in a skill position category in terms of card value, rookie card value, up there with Emeka Egbuka and Ashton Genty and Travis Hunter. And so he's up there, man. His cards are expensive. You know, pound for pound, his cards are more expensive than Bowers right now. So I'll buy Bowers, and then when Bowers gets, or when the Raiders draft a quarterback next year, or sign a quarterback next year, boom, Bowers prices go up instantly, and he'll have big prices again.
Look at James with the super chat. He says he's still waiting on his Bo Nix XRC.
That sucks. Yeah, so that would have, dude, the Bo Nix XRC, that would have came out of 2024 Select.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Why is that taking so long, dude? That's insane. That sucks.
Interesting. It's a $250 card.
Travis Hunter, I think, is going to have weekly dips and ups and downs. He's just a volatile market depending on how much he plays on defense versus offense. And he's not the number 1 read in this offense. I mean, yeah, they do scheme him some plays. Like you saw Monday night, he was the read. And they do throw him the ball sometimes as a first read. But what I've come to learn is Trevor Lawrence is like, he's a first read guy. He's not at the level of like, he's just not going to be, he's never going to get to the Hall of Fame or anything. You know, he's a first read guy like Herbert. You know, these guys get stuck in this first read, you know, panic mode. Whereas guys like Jaden, they go through more than just one read on a regular basis. Like guys like Baker's good at that too, you know. Stafford, awesome at it, you know. So I think in order to make it really deep in the league, you got to be able to get through your first read and look at more than that on the field.
Yeah, A+ Trucker, I do not think Kenny Pickett is better than Geno Smith.
No.
Game Winner Extreme, do you think Panini products next year, once they lose a license, might be a solid play, given the prices of their sealed wax will be much cheaper while still containing the iconic case hits?
I don't think they lose the license, to be honest with you. We talked about this last week, but there's still been no development in Fanatics basketball license. So good luck getting the license out of Panini's hands, man. They're going to drag this lawsuit, this antitrust lawsuit. Until that thing gets settled, nothing's happening to the licenses. So
well, there you go. Well, we will see you guys next week at noon on Wednesday, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. And make sure you go check out Power Hour NFL. I just launched Instagram and TikTok short form accounts, but make sure you go check out my breakdowns on YouTube. We will see you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace
Boom.
out.